Patrick Mahomes, the star quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, was used to being in the spotlight. But during a live TV interview, he was about to face a controversial question that would leave everyone stunned. The host, eager to dive deeper into Mahomes' leadership, asked a question that had been lingering in the media for weeks. "Patrick, some critics say you don't always step up when the pressure's on. What do you say to that?" What happened next would completely shock the nation. Mahomes' response wasn't what anyone expected. It was much more than a defense. Patrick Mahomes had dominated the NFL ever since he became the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. His talent, precision, and ability to make clutch plays had made him a household name, and his Super Bowl win had cemented him as one of the most influential athletes in football. But while Mahomes had garnered love from fans and admiration from fellow players, he had also attracted criticism. There was the occasional comment questioning his consistency in high-pressure moments or whether he truly had the mental toughness to match his talent. Despite the accolades and achievements, Mahomes had always managed to stay humble, preferring to let his game speak for itself. He was a family man, involved in charity work, and kept a low profile outside of the football field. But with success came scrutiny, and the more successful Mahomes became, the more people expected him to deliver on a consistent basis in the biggest games. It wasn't long before critics began to emerge, questioning whether Mahomes was truly the best quarterback in the league when it mattered most. Some pointed to games where he struggled in the second half or faced challenges in close, high-stakes situations. In an attempt to address the growing rumors and reports, Mahomes had agreed to a live TV interview, hoping to clarify his thoughts and perhaps shed light on his mindset. He had no problem answering questions about his career, his goals, or his journey, but he never expected to face such a direct challenge to his leadership. As the host began asking Mahomes about his approach to leadership, the tone of the interview shifted. The host pushed further, sensing an opportunity to get a reaction. With a slight grin, the host casually said, "Patrick, there are those who think you're great when it's easy, but when the pressure is on, you don't always step up. What do you say to that?" The words hung in the air, and the studio audience seemed to hold their breath, waiting for Mahomes' response. His usual calm demeanor was now met with a question that hit close to home. Would he remain the unflappable Mahomes we all knew? Or would this challenge push him to react in a way no one had ever seen before? Patrick Mahomes leaned back in his chair, his eyes narrowing slightly as he heard the host's words. The question wasn't unexpected, but the way it was asked, with that sharp edge designed to provoke a reaction, gave him pause. For a brief moment, the audience waited, unsure of how Mahomes would respond. Would he brush it off, like he had with previous critiques? Would he give a politically correct answer and maintain his usual humble persona? Or would he finally address the doubts head-on? Rodgers had made headlines for similar moments of controversial reactions, and now Mahomes was faced with a pivotal choice. Would he confront his critics directly? He took a deep breath, and for the first time in the interview, his expression shifted. No longer was he the playful, carefree Mahomes we were used to. This was the leader, the competitor, who had played in countless high-stakes moments and always rose to the occasion. His voice was calm, but firm. "You know, I've heard that before, and I've always been asked about it. But here's the thing. When people talk about leadership, they often forget it's not just about the big plays or the highlight reels." The room went quiet. The host had been expecting a typical response, maybe a little laugh, perhaps a defensive comment. But what Mahomes said next left everyone speechless. No one ever talks about the quiet moments, the hard decisions, the way you handle the pressure in subtle ways. Leadership isn't always about being loud or making big statements. It's about standing firm when the world expects you to crumble. It's about knowing when to step forward, even when everyone's waiting for you to react. The host blinked, clearly caught off guard. This wasn't the usual Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady style of leadership, the kind of leadership that relies on outspoken confidence. This was something different. It was raw, calm, and above all, authentic. "I know who I am as a leader," Mahomes continued. "I don't need to be the loudest in the room. I lead with my actions, with how I show up every day, how I show up for my teammates." The silence in the room was palpable. The audience, who had been waiting for a typical confrontation, now found themselves witnessing something more powerful than expected. As soon as Patrick Mahomes' shocking response aired, the reaction was immediate, and it didn't take long for the internet to explode with mixed opinions. The world was stunned, unsure of how to react to Mahomes' bold words. Was this the response of a confident leader, or was it an overreaction? The sports world was divided. On one hand, many fans and athletes expressed respect for Mahomes, standing his ground and confronting his critics with a calm but assertive response. "This is why Mahomes is a leader," one fan tweeted. "It's not about shouting or making headlines, it's about doing your job, showing up, and handling adversity without getting emotional." But not everyone was convinced. Critics quickly started calling Mahomes' answer arrogant and defensive. "Who does Mahomes think he is?" one commentator wrote. "He's been great on the field, but to snap at a simple question like that shows a lack of maturity." The reaction wasn't just from fans. NFL analysts began debating whether Mahomes' response was a sign of confidence or if it hinted at a deeper fragility. "True leaders don't just get defensive," one former player said. "They acknowledge their flaws and rise above the noise." Mahomes didn't do that today. He let his pride take over. Even some of Mahomes' own teammates were taken aback by his response. "I didn't expect him to go off like that," one player said privately. "But hey, maybe it was the right time to show everyone who he really is. He's been under a lot of pressure lately, and I guess it just came out." Meanwhile, Mahomes' social media following grew, with many fans rallying behind him. "People love to criticize, but Mahomes is still the best QB in the game. He's earned the right to defend his leadership," one fan tweeted. "He doesn't owe anyone an explanation for how he leads." As the backlash continued, some of Mahomes' critics began to rethink their stance. "Maybe Mahomes is just tired of being misjudged," another commentator said. "He's human, and sometimes leadership means telling the world to stop questioning you." Despite the backlash, Mahomes remained unfazed. His message was clear. He would not be cornered or bullied into defending his leadership. He wasn't here to conform to expectations. He was here to lead on his own terms. As the dust began to settle after the immediate backlash, Patrick Mahomes took a step back to reflect on the storm his response had caused. Instead of being shaken by the controversy, Mahomes used it as an opportunity to reaffirm his vision of leadership, one that didn't need to be validated by anyone else. But then, the biggest shock of all came. Mahomes revealed that there was a deeper reason behind his strong reaction. In a follow-up interview, Mahomes shared his plan to address what he believed was a gap in the game, a way to make an even greater impact off the field. "I'm here to disrupt the way leadership is seen in sports," Mahomes said, his voice calm but filled with determination. "I'm not just a quarterback. I've spent a lot of time thinking about what's next and how I can help the next generation of athletes. It's not just about talent anymore. It's about mental strength." He revealed that he had been working on a new project, a leadership training program aimed at helping athletes in all sports, not just with their physical skills, but with the mental side of their game. The program would include one-on-one mentoring, workshops, and training courses designed to cultivate leadership skills in young athletes. "It's time to stop focusing only on the physical aspect of the game. We have enough coaches teaching skills," Mahomes continued. "But mental toughness, resilience, and emotional intelligence are often overlooked. I want to teach athletes how to be leaders in every aspect of their life, on and off the field." His goal was to create a movement, one that would empower athletes to take control of their leadership journey independently. Mahomes wanted to teach them that leadership wasn't just about scoring the game-winning touchdown. It was about making the right decisions under pressure, staying calm in adversity, and leading by example, no matter the situation. The announcement wasn't just a career shift. It was a bold step in redefining what it meant to be a leader in sports. Mahomes wasn't just going to be a quarterback on the field. He was on the verge of creating an entire generation of leaders. "I want athletes to leave my program knowing that true leadership starts from within," Mahomes said, with a firm nod. "If you can master your mind, you can master anything." The internet was buzzing once Mahomes revealed his new project. The response was overwhelming, with both fans and industry leaders chiming in. Mahomes' leadership training program was groundbreaking, and the world was taking notice. On one side, sports fans and athletes rallied behind him. They praised Mahomes for his commitment to mental wellness and leadership development, an area often ignored in the physical world of sports. "This is exactly what the game needs," one fan tweeted. "We always talk about how athletes need to be strong physically, but mental strength is just as important. Mahomes is leading the way here." A fellow NFL player, DeAndre Hopkins, wrote, "This is a game changer. We've all trained hard physically, but the mind is where the real battle happens. Proud to see Mahomes stepping up in this area." In the sports media, there was a mix of excitement and skepticism. Some analysts believed this was a bold and positive step in addressing the gap in leadership training. Mental toughness is often what separates the good athletes from the great ones. "Mahomes is giving athletes the tools to make that leap," one journalist commented. However, not all reactions were positive. A few critics questioned the timing of Mahomes' new project, wondering if it was a distraction from his on-field duties. "Does Mahomes think he's done with football already?" one critic wrote. "He's still in the middle of his career. Shouldn't he be focusing on leading the Chiefs to more championships instead of starting a new business?" Some fans also felt unsettled by the idea of a quarterback, someone they revered for his on-field success, stepping into the mental health and leadership space. It's one thing to talk about leadership on the field, but now you want to coach mental toughness? Seems like a lot of talk and not much substance, one disgruntled fan posted. Still, Mahomes' social media following continued to grow. His followers, who had seen him battle both on and off the field, were eager to see how this new initiative would unfold. "Mahomes is the future of leadership in sports," another tweet read. "He's not just a football player, he's building a legacy that extends beyond the field. Real leadership, real impact." No matter the criticism, the momentum surrounding Mahomes' new venture was undeniable. It seemed that he had successfully shifted the narrative, showing the world that leadership was more than just what happens between the lines. Patrick Mahomes has proven that leadership isn't just about the plays you make on the field, it's about shaping others to become leaders themselves. His decision to create a mental toughness training program marks a new era in sports, one where athletes are empowered to lead with confidence and resilience, both physically and mentally. What do you think? Is Mahomes redefining leadership in sports, or should he focus solely on football? Comment below, like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories that keep you on the edge of your seat.